Tadalena Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutabata Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Ritam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyahi Vacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivajari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are reading from Jaiva Dharma by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. 4th chapter. Vaishnava Dharma is Nitya Dharma. So, conversation is between one devotee, Lahiri Mahashai, who had just joined, the devotees in Godrum Dvip, Navadvip, taking shelter of Vaishnav Das Babaji, who had taken shelter of Prem Das Babaji Maharaj. So explaining about Dharma, Babaji Maharaj. So Vaishnava Dharma, pure Vaishnava Dharma, and then the other one is Vidha. So Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma and Vidha, adulterated Vaishnava Dharma. So if one is understanding his spiritual nature as the eternal symbol of Krishna, and then understanding one's relationship with Krishna as a servant, friend, in parental affection or in conjugal relationship, that is Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma. If one is not yet so advanced, then one is performing devotional service, but some ulterior motives are there. It is adulterated. Vidha. Karma Vidha or Jnana Vidha. That is also sometimes we know Karma Mishra Bhakti or Jnana Mishra Bhakti. So, those who are following Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma, they are doing everything for Krishna's satisfaction or Vishnu's satisfaction. Those who are following Vidha or adulterated, and they are performing devotional service And so to say, they have this conception, or even they may not be conscious, but they're performing their devotional service, which is not pure. And then, so to say, Vishnu or Krishna becomes subordinate to their activities. According to this theory, all varieties of worship and spiritual practice such as upasana, bhajan, and sadhana are merely parts of karma, because there is no truth higher than karma. This type of Vaishnava Dharma was professed by the ancient Mimamsaka philosophers and has been prevalent for a very long time. Many people in India who adhere to this doctrine pride themselves on being Vaishnavas, but do not care to accept pure Vaishnavas as Vaishnavas at all. This is their great misfortune. So that is certainly a misfortune, and it may be seen in Bharadvaja in India, amongst, as mentioned here, Vaishnavas also. They are not pure Vaishnavas, and they cannot recognize pure Vaishnavas. That is unfortunate, but that is the fact. That is the truth. Even nowadays, it is prevalent. Should Vaishnavas, they're rare. Sadhguru, Sadshishya, they're rare. Those who are properly situated. But, of course, we have to be positive also. We as practicing devotees, and we should respect everyone. And for the pure Vaishnavas, everyone is a pure Vaishnav. That is their vision. So, but at the same time, sometimes one has to use one's intelligence and draw a line. So the acharyas have done that. So those in position, they have to make some distinction. Vaishnava Dharma adulterated with Gyan is also widespread throughout India. According to this school of thought, the supreme truth is the incomprehensible, all-pervading Brahma. And in order to attain this nirvishesh, featureless Brahma, one should worship Surya, Ganesh, Shakti, Shiva, and Vishnu, who all possess form. So that is known as Panchupasana. Worshipping 5 personalities, and is like a stepping stone or just steps in order to attain the formless absolute truth. So they do that. Some of the Vaishnavas, they in the beginning worship Surya or Ganesh, Durga or Shiva or Vishnu. So that is actually very unfortunate, but it is prevalent even now in Bharadvaja in India, or even we may say all over the world now. When one's knowledge becomes complete, one can give up the worship of forms and ultimately attain the state of Nirvishesh Brahma. This is the saying of some Mayavadis. Different kinds of Mayavadis are there. Many people accept this doctrine and disrespect the pure Vaishnavas. When followers of this Panchupasana system worship Vishnu, they perform Diksha, Puja, and all the activities for Vishnu, and they may also worship Radha Krishna. Still, it is not Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma, of course, that we can understand. The Mayavad is worshipping some deity. It is not Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma, because in their consciousness they want to merge into the impersonal Brahman. For the Vaishnavas, it is just inconceivable how somebody can do like this. But it is a reality. The Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma that comes to light when one eliminates the adulterated form is the true Vaishnava Dharma. Due to the influence of the age of Kali, most people cannot understand what pure Vaishnava Dharma is. And they therefore accept the various adulterated forms as true Vaishnava Dharma. According to the Srimad Bhagavatam, human beings display three different tendencies with regard to the absolute truth. The tendency towards the all-pervading Brahma Pravritti. The tendency towards the Supreme Atma in the heart, known as Paramatma Pravritti. And the tendency towards the Supreme Person, Bhagavan, Bhagavat Pravritti. By the Brahma Pravritti, some people acquire taste for the indefinite, featureless Nirvishesh Brahma as the ultimate principle. The method they adopt in order to attain this indeterminate state is known as Panchopasana. So that is for the Nirvisheshwari. They perform Panchopasana. Of course, sometimes some persons who may also have the understanding of the absolute truth, they sometimes also perform Panchopasana. That we may say. And also in the scriptures it is mentioned, specifically also in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So as mentioned here, three kinds of inquisitive transcendentalists. That is mentioned also so in the first canto, second chapter, text number 11. Vadanti tattva vidvam, vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yajkana madvayam brahmeti paramatmati bhagavanitya shabhyate. Also in the fifth canto, Rishabdev is explaining about two kinds of transcendentalists. Impersonalists and depersonalists. So here, Brahma Pravriti means the impersonalist. Paramatma Pravriti means those who are inclined towards the Paramatma, the super soul in the heart, Vishnu. But even there, some of them are actually Mayavadis. Some of them, they want to merge in Paramatma. And the others who accept Paramatma, but they are not inclined to serve. But then the highest conception is Bhagavat Pravriti. Accepting Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, or Sri Ram, Vishnu, Narayan, and so on. And that is ultimately, that is the highest understanding, that is the only proper understanding by which one can realize oneself fully, completely, and realize the Supreme Lord. Even the Brahmavadi or Paramatmavadi, so they understand the existence of the soul, and they may realize their existence as spiritual soul to some extent. They may realize they are not this body, but these are very rare. And the Mayavadis who enter the Brahmajyoti, they're also rare. Those who fully realize Paramatma, the super soul in the heart, they're also very rare. But similarly, the pure devotees, so those who realize Krishna and themselves as eternal servant of Krishna and their relationship with Krishna, they're actually also rare. So, but that is the proper understanding, and we should strive to advance in that direction. And by practicing seriously, sincerely, then we may advance more and more, and we may attain perfection. If we have already previous impressions, then we may attain perfection this lifetime, or we may in the next lifetime. By the Paramatma Pravriti, some people acquire taste for that yoga principle which is which establishes contact with the subtle form of Paramatma. So Paramatma is beyond this material body. The methods they adopt to try to attain the trance of absorption in Paramatma Samadhi are known as Karma Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. This doctrine holds that karma includes initiation, which is chanting of Vishnu mantra, worshipping of Sri Vishnu, meditation, and other such practices. Vaishnava Dharma adulterated to the karma is present in this system. So some people are doing karma yoga and then they try to meditate on Paramatma or Vishnu. But some who are doing karma yoga, they're also trying to meditate or they are worshipping Krishna or Ramachandra Bhagavan also, that we have to mention. And others, they're doing Ashtanga yoga. Yam Niyam Pranayam. Yam Niyam Asan Pranayam. Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. To be absorbed on the transcendent plane, that is mentioned as Samadhi. So they may also be the Mayavadis, they may be the Paramatmavadis or the devotees. But only those who understand Bhagavan, they are properly situated, and that is proper Samadhi. By the Bhagavad Paravritti, fortunate jivas acquire a taste for the Bhakti principle, which seeks to obtain service of the pure personal form of Bhagavan. Savishesh Bhagavad Swarup, who possesses all qualities and attributes. The activities such as worshipping Bhagavan are not parts of karma or jnana, but are components of Shuddha Bhakti, pure Bhakti. The Vaishnava Dharma that conforms to this doctrine is Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma. So, but again, so this Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma, pure Bhakti, that is also rare. So the activities of worshipping Bhagavan are not part of karma or jnana. But sometimes those persons, they're trying to perform Shuddha Bhakti, but still, as mentioned before also, sometimes they have some inclination to get some rewards or towards speculation, mental speculation. But at least they are tempted to perform Shuddha Bhakti. So it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Badanti tat tattva avidas tattvam yajkanam advayam prameti paramatma iti bhagavan iti shabdati. Those who know absolute reality describe that ultimate non-dual substance as the supreme truth. Badanti tat tattva avidas. Those who know the absolute truth. That call them Yajnanam Advayam, Advay non-dual, absolute truth. It is beyond the duality of this world, like heat and cold, happiness and distress, and so on. Some know this same Advaya Gyan Tattva by the name of Brahma, some by the name of Paramatma, and others by the name Bhagavan. So the absolute truth is beyond this duality of this world. So the Mayavadis, they want to merge in the absolute truth, and they say there is no duality, Advai, Keval Advait, and they want to merge in that. But others, like Paramatmavadis, but they also may have some misconception. But then those who worship in Bhagavan, and they will also say that the absolute truth is Advai Gyan. It is non-dual. Means there's no duality of the material world, but that there is spiritual duality. Spiritual variety is there. And so the acharyas have explained, like Madhvacharya. So he has given this understanding, Dvaitvad. So Shuddha Dvaitvad, Dvaitvad. So that is pure duality, transcendental duality. And then Ramanujacharya, his philosophy is Vishishta Advaitvad, specified Advait, so that means the absolute truth which is beyond the duality of this world. It is non-dual. So, but specified, Vishishta. So in that realm, which is beyond this material world, duality of the material world, the specified duality is there actually. In the non-dual, there's duality also. That Nibhakacharya has also mentioned, Dvait Advaitvad, Bhed Abhedvad. So it is Advait because it is beyond this material world, but then there's transcendental variety there. Transcendental duality, there's transcendental pleasure, transcendental distress. And so on. Vishnu Swami has explained from the fourth Sampradaya, Shuddhadvait, so pure non-dual existence of the absolute truth and the relationship with the jivas. So further on, is explained, Bhagavad Tattva is the supreme Tattva and is the basis of both Brahma and Paramatma. So everything included in Krishna. So everything comes from Krishna, Paramatma. So that is the expanded form of the Supreme Lord, the expansion of Krishna. First expansion is Balaram, and then comes, of course, Chaturvya in Dwarka, Vasudev Shankarshan, Pradumna Nirudha. And from that Mool Shankarshan, in Dwarka comes Mahashankarshan, and then of course unlimited Chaturvya there, or Vidya Chaturvya is there, Vasudev Shankarshan, Pradumna Nirudha, which are Vishnu Murtis. And so from that Mahashankarshan, then Karnadaksha Vishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu come in this realm of this material world. They're transcendental, but they're there when the material world is manifest. Without their existence, there's no existence of the material world. But they manifest from Mahavishnu, from Mahashankarshan, for the purpose of the manifestation and proper functioning of this world. And then Kshirodaksha Vishnu is Paramatma, the super soul in everyone's heart. And Brahma, the Brahmajyoti, that is the effulgence and the absolute truth. In personal aspect, that is Krishna's effulgence, which is non-different from Krishna, but different also. It is this personal conception of the truth, Bhagavad Tattva, that is a pure conception of Sri Vishnu. The jivas who pursue this principle are pure jivas, and their inclination is called bhakti. Devotion to Sri Hari, Hari Bhakti, celebrated by the names Shur Vaishnav Dharma, Nitya Dharma, Jaiva Dharma, Jivka Dharma, the constitutional function of the jivas. Bhagavad Dharma, the religion of worshipping the Supreme Person. Paramatma Dharma. So, and Parodharma, the supreme function. Vastav Dharma is also mentioned elsewhere. The real Dharma, Vastav Dharma. There are religions that strive for the ultimate benefit, Paramartha Dharma. So these are all different names for Jaiva Dharma or Nitya Dharma, or which is Vaishnav Dharma. So Vaishnav Dharma is Nitya Dharma. All types of Dharma that arise from the tendency toward Brahman, Paramatma, Naimitika, not Nitya. So those who claim to be dharmic, religious, and worshipping Paramatma, the personal aspect, or even those who are following Karma Kanda, and those who are working and have some inclination towards the Lord, but not much, but they're more interested in working in His world and being happy by getting some result of their work. So completely on the bodily platform, or quite on the bodily platform. So that is Namitika. That is temporary. The cultivation of Nirvishesh Brahma is motivated by material purpose, nimitta, and is therefore Naimitika, not Nitya. When a jiva is anxious to gain release from this bondage to matter, this state of imprisonment becomes the nimitta, the cause, that impels him to adopt the Naimitika Dharma of striving for a state in which all material qualities are extinguished. This striving is said to be Namitika because it is motivated by a nimitta, material cause. So nimitta means material cause. And so nimit becomes naimitic. In the state of material bondage. Therefore, the dharma of striving to attain Brahma is not eternal. That we understand. So, because therein trying to obtain Brahma, there's no activity there. There's no devotional service. But the constitutional position of this jiva is to serve Krishna. That is Jaiva Dharma. That is Nitya Dharma, Vaishnav Dharma. The jivas who adopt the Dharma of seeking Paramatma with the desire for the happiness of Samadhi take shelter of Namitika Dharma, motivated by the impetus for subtle material pleasure. Therefore, Paramatma Dharma is also not eternal. Only unalloyed Bhagavad Dharma is eternal. So this is clear. Only if one understands one's existence as a spiritual being and having a relationship with Bhagavan and trying to serve Bhagavan, they're properly situated. And that is Nitya Dharma. Everything else is Namitika Dharma. So one must have knowledge of one's existence, one's relationship with the Supreme Being, and the specific form of the Supreme Lord, not the vague form. Like as we know, the Christians or the Mohammedans, they believe in the existence of the soul, mostly, and they believe in God. But they don't have the personal concept or understanding, although they may say God has a form. But they don't have a clear understanding. And they are not therefore engaged in the personal relationship. So therefore that is also Namitika Dharma. So that may change. One may be a Christian and then one may change to becoming a Muslim. And Muslims who are changing, they're rare, unless they come to Krishna consciousness by good fortune. So, but even sometimes Christians become Hindu who don't have the proper understanding, and Hindus become Christians or Muslims. So that is referring to the external performance of Dharma on the bodily platform. So that may change. So therefore it is Namitika, it is not eternal. But Nitya Dharma refers to devotional service on the spiritual platform as spirit soul in a personal relationship with the Supreme Lord, Krishna or Vishnu or Ram, that we have to understand. On hearing all this, Lahiri Mahashai said, "Oh Mahashai, kindly instruct me on Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma." So Mahashai, so that refers to a great personality. So in which Lahiri was a great personality. Mahashai, so a person who's greatly advanced, of whom we may take shelter. I'm taking shelter at your lotus feet in my old age. Please accept me. So Lahiri Mahashai was already older. Of course, even Vaishnav Das Babaji was also not so young, but a little younger. So, but at any point we may realize one's constitutional position and then try to make advancement. And then one may have the good fortune of associating with great Vaishnavas, then we may advance more rapidly. But so to become self-realized, it is not easy. Even if one has the proper understanding of the Supreme Lord and our relationship with Him, and a personal relationship, if we try to cultivate that, but to become completely free of unwanted things, anarthas, material desires. So it is not so easy and it will take time. So one has to be always very enthusiastic, fixed, and one has to be very patient, and one should be in good association of those who are pure, those who are highly advanced. So please accept me. I've heard that if one has previously accepted Diksha and Shiksha from an unqualified guru, he should be initiated and receive instructions again when he meets a genuine guru. I've been hearing your pure instructions for several days, and my faith in Vaishnava Dharma has been awakened. Please first instruct me about Vaishnava Dharma and then sanctify me by giving me initiation. So in order to advance in spiritual life, so we should take shelter and initiation from a great personality. Of course, it is mentioned in the scriptures, by chanting the holy names, one may advance in spiritual life. And one does not wait. One does not need to wait for initiation. And so basically, so in order to advance in spiritual life, one may chant the holy names, one may study the scriptures, and by good fortune, we may have the proper understanding. And one may advance to some extent, but ultimately we have to take shelter of a pure devotee and take initiation. And then one may advance more. But Diksha, and that is actually also a kind of beginning in spiritual life. And even after taking initiation, even from a pure Vaishnava, it doesn't mean that we become very quickly or immediately purified and pure. No, it will take so much time still. But by taking initiation, then we get help from the Spirit Master. One is accepted by Krishna. And then one may advance more rapidly. So therefore it is recommended that one should take initiation. Krishna says to Arjuna also, Tadviri paripatena prashna seva upadikshati deganam yaminastatadarshanaha. That takes shelter of one who has seen the Absolute Truth, Tattvadarshanaha. And then, so in a humble way, you try to inquire about the Absolute Truth. And then Sevaya, then one should serve also. One should serve the Spirit Master, and under his guidance serve the Supreme Lord, which is our occupational, the constitutional position. So the Spirit Master is helping us to engage in devotional service, to advance, to become pure. Babaji Mahashaya became slightly ill at ease and replied, "O Mahashaya, I will certainly instruct you as far as I am able, but I am not fit to be a Diksha Guru. Nonetheless, you may now take instruction on Shuddha Vaishnav Dharma." So Babaji Vaishnav Das, so it also come not so long before to Navadvip to Godwin Dvip and had taken shelter of Premdas Babaji Maharaj. And so before he was a Mayavadi sannyasi, so he understood his constitutional position and he took shelter of Premdas Babaji Maharaj. And so he was advancing very nicely, and therefore so attracted this Lahiri Mahashaya, but he felt underqualified yet to be Diksha Guru. And usually in the presence of one's Diksha Guru, one shouldn't give Diksha to others. So unless the spiritual master is telling. So two things are there, then Diksha and Shiksha. One may give Shiksha, so instruction. Of course, this concept of Shiksha Guru is there. Diksha and Shiksha Guru. So there's one initiating spiritual master and maybe several instructing spiritual master. But usually both of them, they are supposed to be pure devotees or highly advanced. So therefore here Babaji, Vaishnav Das Babaji, he was not feeling comfortable to be in that position of Diksha Guru. So therefore he told him that I can give you instruction, I can be your Shiksha Guru, in other words. So we speak to in regards to Shuddha Vaishnav Dharma. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the original Guru of the entire world, has explained that there are three fundamental principles in Vaishnav Dharma. It's a very important point, which the Vaishnava should know. And Sambandha Tattva, knowledge of one's relationship with Bhagavan, Abhideya Tattva, the means by which the ultimate goal is achieved. Abhideya is the means. So first one has to understand that Krishna is Supreme Lord, we are his part and parcels, and we have to serve him. Abhideya Tattva means to get instructions on how to practically engage in devotional service, by which we can get the ultimate goal. Krishna Prem, Prema Bhakti or Bhav Bhakti. And Prayojan Tattva, the ultimate goal of Krishna Prem. The necessity is there to come to their platform of pure devotional service, which will come gradually. The Shuddha Vaishnava or Shuddha Bhakta is one who knows these three principles and acts in accordance with them. Of course, just to know this theoretically is not enough, but there should be some practical realization, and one should know and some more detail about Sambandha Gyan or Sambandha Tattva, Abhideya Gyan and Abhideya Tattva, Prayojan Gyan, Prayojan Tattva. The first principle, Sambandha Gyan, includes three separate topics. The first topic is the material world, Jar Jagat. So we are in this material world. And we should try to get out of it. Or the fundamental truth regarding the potency that creates bewilderment, Mayik Tattva. So in material world, Maya is there, the external energy, bewildering the conditioned soul. The second topic is a living being, Jiva, or the fundamental truth regarding the predominated entities, Adhin Tattva. So we're dependent on Krishna. We're supposed to be dependent on Krishna. Or if one is not depending on Krishna, then one is under the influence of Maya. So it's predominated, this Bada Jiva. And the third topic is Bhagavan, or the fundamental truth regarding the predominating entity. Predominated, that is the Jiva, and predominating, that is Krishna. Prabhu Tattva, Vishnu Tattva. This Jiv Tattva, Adin Tattva, so it's predominated, and this predominating entity, that is Prabhu Tattva, Vishnu Tattva. So basically we have to know that Bhagavan is there, residing in the spiritual world, performing his pastimes, and the material world is there, and then the Jiva is there, and we are part and parcel of Krishna. But now we are under the influence of Maya, that is Sambandhagyan, and we have to become free from Maya. Bhagavan is without a second and endowed with all potencies. That is the meaning of Bhagavan. One who has all potencies in full beauty, so Saundarya, and then Gyan, knowledge, and then Aishwarya, so it means opulence, and then Virya, power. And then Gyan, of course, knowledge is there, is the embodiment of all knowledge, the source of all knowledge. And also renunciation is there. It's not at all attached to the material world, Bhagavan. And even in the midst of the gopis, most beautiful damsels of Braj, his associates. So Krishna can just leave them all behind, as during the rasa dance. Of course, he was leaving because Radharani left the rasa dance. But then he left Radharani also. So that shows his vairagya. Who else can renounce the association of beautiful damsels? Not possible for ordinary people. So Krishna is perfect and complete. This is the source of everything. Atmaram, Aptakam, is self-satisfied. But then, to increase his happiness, he has created so much variety. And that is giving him additional satisfaction or transcendental bliss, which is ever increasing, especially the association of the gopis. Bhagavan is one without a second and endowed with all potencies. He is all attractive, the exclusive abode of opulence and sweetness, and is the sole shelter of all jivas. Although he is the only shelter of Maya and all the jivas, still is aloof and independent, and exists in his own supreme independent form, which is uncommonly beautiful. So he is the shelter of Maya and the jivas. Is the shelter of the goddesses of fortune, but at the same time is aloof, independent, and is uncommonly beautiful, is most beautiful. So that is ultimately Krishna, who is having these qualities to the highest limit, and nobody is equal to him. All the other expansions are inferior to him. The effulgence of his limbs radiates to a great distance, manifesting as the Nirvishesh Brahma. So Brahmajyoti is Krishna's effulgence. It's not different from him, but different also. And that is all pervading also. And of course, in the material world, so the sun and the moon and the stars, they're getting the light from the Brahmajyoti. Through his divine potency known as Aishi Shakti, he manifests the jivas and the material world and then enters into that world as Paramatma, who is his partial expansion. This is the fundamental truth concerning Ishvara's supreme control of Brahma, Paramatma, the indwelling supersoul. So it's the source of everything, of all the spiritual worlds, the material world, and even other personalities. Iti Chamsakalapam Sam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Sam Bhagavan, the original Supreme Lord. And all the Vishnu Tattvas which are there, they're simply his expansions. And Mamavam Sajiva Loke Jiva the Sanatana. The Jivas are his part and parcels. So that is the subject matter of Sambandha Gyan. So there's more explanation also there in regards to Sambandha Gyan. So which one has to understand. I guess we can continue. Still have some time. In the Vaikuntha region of the spiritual sky beyond his material universe, he manifests as Narayan. His feature of supreme opulence and majesty. In Golopa and Dharma, in which is beyond Vaikuntha, he manifests as O Gopi Jana Vallabha, Sri Krishna Chandra. His future of supreme sweetness. His various types of expansion, such as identical manifestation, prakash, and pastimes forms. Vilas are eternal and unlimited. Nothing and no one is equal to him. What to speak of being superior to him? So that we have to understand also. That is part of Sambandha Gyan, which is important. So not everything is one. It's like some people in India especially are saying, oh, Vishnu, Narayan, Krishna, and then even Shiva, Durga, they're all one. But no. Well, from one point of view, the absolute truth is there, and the absolute truth is one. But different personalities are there, and there's a supreme, original, and that is Krishna, just like there's one government. But different personalities are there in government. The president, and then vice president, prime minister, different ministers are there in each state. And the governors are there also. So many personalities, but he's a supreme. Or the king is a supreme in the kingdom. But then he has his ministers also. And they are part of the government of the king, but he's the supreme. So Krishna is the supreme. Therefore it is mentioned in Bhagavatam, Ete Chamsa Kalapam Sam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, known as Paribhasha Sutra, to be remembered throughout the Bhagavatam. That Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gopijana Vallabha, Krishna, the beloved of the gopis, Krishna Chandra and Braj. So that has to be understood properly. So that is part of Sambandha Gyan. Because serving Krishna or serving Vishnu, that is different. Both are devotional service, Vaishnava Dharma, but there's a difference there. And we have to have one Ishtadev. Prananal, Pasyadev, Aradhyadev. It may be Vishnu or Narayan, or it may be Ram, or it may be Krishna. So the spiritual master will guide the disciple. His identical manifestations and pastime forms, Prakash and Vilas, are manifested by his superior potency known as Parashakti. This Parashakti displays its prowess, Vikram, in many different features, out of which only 3 are known to the Jivas. The first is the internal potency, Chit Vikram, which arranges Sri Hari's transcendental pastimes and everything related to them. The second is the marginal potency, Jiva Vikram or Tatastha Vikram, which manifests and sustains innumerable Jivas. The third is the potency that creates bewilderment, Maya Vikram, which creates material time, material activities, and all the insubstantial objects of this world. So that is part here of Asambandha Gyan. So Chid Vikram, so the potency, the internal potency, which is Krishna and his expansions, and then Jiva Vikram or Tatastha Shakti Vikram. So these are the jivas, or the potency which sustains the jivas. The third is the potency that creates bewilderment, Maya. So it's Bhagavan, Jiva, Maya. So he's just explaining elaborately so that it may be understood properly. So sometimes you have to repeat. So just different wordings are there. But just to make it clear. Sometimes one has to repeat. It is mentioned also in the scriptures. So to emphasize one may say 3 times. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. So the only means in the age of Kali to attain perfection is chanting the holy names. Nasteva, 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 3 times. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. In positive sense or negative sense, to make some impression or to make a person understand, sometimes it may be said 3 times. You may say to a boy, no, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So you understand, yes, I should not do. Or chant the holy names, or study, you should study to make it clear that he understands. Study now. Don't play the whole day. Sambandha Tattva comprises Ishwar's relationship with the Jivas, the relationship with the Jivas and of matter with Ishwar, and the relationship of Ishwar and of the Jivas with matter. One who understands this Sambandha Gyan completely situated in Sambandha Gyan, and one who does not have Sambandha Gyan cannot become a pure Vaishnava by any means. So first we have to have this understanding, which is Sambandha Gyan. Then one can advance. Lahiri Mahashai said, I have heard from some Vaishnavas that one is a real Vaishnava only if he experiences the path of devotion through bhav, emotions. So there is no need for knowledge. How much truth is there in this statement? Up and until now, I have simply tried to evoke emotions through the singing of Harinam Sankirtan. I have not made any attempt to understand Sambandha Gyan. Some people are saying, no need to get all this knowledge. But you just chant the holy names with emotion, bhav. But no, it is necessary to gain knowledge. I was also saying there that her religion without knowledge, so that becomes sentimental. A religion without knowledge becomes sentimental. So that is also known as sahaja, taking it cheaply, just showing some emotion artificially, but not having Sambandha Gyan or sufficient knowledge which is required to act properly in advance. And knowledge without religion, so that is simply mental speculation. So simply having knowledge but then not engaging in devotional service, ultimately then it becomes a kind of mental speculation. Babaji said the highest fruit of attainment for the Vaishnavas is development of bhav, the first part of prem, and the basis for all transcendental emotions. So that is there. Definitely bhav has to be attained. That is the goal. But then he's clarifying. However, that state of bhav must be pure. And one has to come to this level by gradually going upwards, by having Sambandha Gyan and then Abhideya Gyan, engaging in devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master. And then one can come to the Bhavavastha, which is known as Prayojan, Bhav is the first sprout of Prem. Prem Ankur. So Bhav must be there, but it must be pure. So one has to follow the process. Having faith and Shraddha, then sadhusanga, the association with the devotees, one can do bhajan, then one becomes free from anarthas, unwanted things. So there one artha is there also, Sarup Brahma, not having the proper understanding about the Supreme Lord, about the process of devotional service. So that has to be there. Those who think that the highest goal is to merge their identity into the non-differentiated Brahma practice in inducing emotions while engaged in spiritual discipline to attain this goal. So yeah, so the Brahmavadis sometimes they also try to have some emotions, but not only that, and as explained, but the other sect or other kind of persons are those who are doing it cheaply. They may not be impersonalists, but personalists, but they have not studied the scriptures. They are not on the proper guidance of a spiritual master who is advanced. And they have some emotions, but they take it cheaply. That is known as Prakrita Sahaja. So how are they, but here is explaining also about even some of the Brahmavadis. However, their emotions and their endeavors are not Shuddha, they are merely an imitation. Even a single drop of Shuddha can fulfill the highest aspiration of the Jiva. But that display of emotions by those who are polluted with the Gyan that is attained, that is aimed at attaining Nirvishesh Brahma is a great calamity for the Jivas. The devotional sentiments of people who feel that they are one with Brahma are merely a cheating display. Therefore, Sambandha Gyan is absolutely essential for pure devotees. So one should have a proper understanding. So the Mayavadis, of course, they don't have the proper understanding, although some of them they may be learned in the scriptures, and they're following some principles of sadhana. They rise early and they study the scriptures, and and they understand that they are spirit, soul, and not this body, but then they want to merge in the absolute truth. Nairimashai then inquired with faith, is there any truth higher than Brahma? So apparently this Lahimashai, he has some misconception. If Bhagavan is the origin of Brahma, why don't the Gyanis give up their pursuit of Brahma and engage in the worship of Bhagavan? Babaji Mahashai smiled mildly and said, Brahma, the four Kumaras, Sukha, Narada, Mahadev, the chief of the celestials, have all ultimately taken shelter of the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Nairi Mahashai then raised a doubt. Bhagavan is a form. Since form is limited by spatial considerations, how can Bhagavan be the resting place of the limitless and all-pervading Brahma? So that is, of course, a genuine question. Babaji Maharaj resolved his doubt by saying, in the material world, the entity known as the sky is also limitless. Why should Brahma be considered to be more important merely because it is limitless? Bhagavan is also limitless by virtue of the potency manifested from the effulgence of his limbs. At the same time, he possesses his own transcendental form. Can any other entity compare with this? It is because of this unparalleled nature that Bhagavan is superior to the principle of Brahma. So the Supreme Lord is unlimited, but at the same time, he's there in a form which we may perceive. But he has unlimited power. And he can manifest a huge form also if he wants. And he can become smaller than the smallest. That is Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. And everything ultimately is emanating from him. Everything which is emanating from him is included in him also, always. So he's also known as Yogeshwar. He has all mystic power, the Supreme Lord. So the effulgence, which is the Brahma Jyoti, which is all pervading, that is his effulgence. So the Brahma Jyoti is the effulgence of Krishna. And that is all pervading. And Krishna can manifest it at any time and any place by his power. He can do the impossible possible. Agatana Gatana Shakti. So one time when devotee asked Prabhupada, so Prabhupada, can Krishna make a hill which is so heavy that he cannot lift it? Prabhupada said yes. And then he said, but he can lift it also. So, okay, so still some more to be discussed in regards to Sambandha Gyan, but it is already 5, here it is 5 o'clock, and in India it is 8:30, so we'll stop here and we'll have the next class on Monday. Hare Krishna, Satchinandana Gaura Hare Ki, Shri Rupa Goswami Ki, Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki, Shri Prabhupada Ki, Shri Gurudev Ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.